In today's video, I want to talk about thread that you might want to use for quilting. Hi, I'm Kim Jamieson-Hirst of Chatterbox Quilts, and recently a friend of mine was moving and she gave me a whole bunch of serger thread. Now, I don't have a serger, so I'm thinking, what am I going to do with this? And, maybe there's someone I know who could use it. And there's all these different colors. You can see this is just a very small amount of what she gave me, but there's all these different colors. And of course, I'm used to the kind of gray and cream for piecing thread, and different colors, of course, for quilting. But typically I use polyester, and the serger thread is polyester, which surprised me. I know nothing about serger thread or sergers. So I started to do some research. Could I use this in my quilting hobby? Well, yes, I can. I found a lot of quilters who actually use serger thread for their piecing. And that may be because they have a serger as well. And so, if you have a thread that works with different machines, why not just use that instead of having to stock, one for piecing and one for serging, and how it goes. Although that is a good reason to go to the quilt shop. Anyway, I digress. So let's take a look at the serger thread if you're not familiar with it. So here's an example. This is actually a Maxima brand. One of the interesting things I found is it doesn't tell you, I couldn't find a weight on any of these. So when I looked it up online, I found out that they're usually between a 40 to a 60 weight. I would say these are closer to about a 40-50 weight thread. They are 100% polyester. However, they feel and look like cotton, okay, which is kind of interesting. So I do have a cotton thread here. This is an Aurifil. This is their Aurifil Mako or Mako. It is a 50/2, so 50 weight thread, 2 strands. These are also 2 strands, by the way. And you can even see here how matte and flat the serger thread is. And the Aurifil, even though it's cotton, it has a little bit of a sheen to it, right? So they do look a little bit different. As far as the thread weight, I know this is a 50 weight. And let me just move these out of the way for a second here, so we can kind of compare a little bit. We've got the Aurifil 50 weight thread, and we've got the serger, whatever weight thread, 50, maybe 60, I'm not sure exactly. But they're not terribly different, right? In their thickness, okay? So kind of similar. And like I said, I've got all these different colors, which is kind of fun. So maybe I can start matching thread to, my fabric colors, right? Which I typically don't do. But hey, why not? All right, so let me move these aside and I'll tell you what I did because I wanted to test this out, all right? So what I did is I took a couple of charm squares. This is all the same fabric. These happen to be a batik, I believe. But I took the same fabric and I stitched a 1/4 inch seam, one with the serger thread, and I used serger thread in the bobbin as well, and the other with an Aurifil thread. And again, I used the Aurifil in the bobbin. So same thread, top and bobbin for the serger thread and for the cotton, the 50 weight cotton thread from Aurifil. And I wanted to see what they looked like. So here's the results of what they look like. Serger here, Aurifil here. So when you look at the stitches, the serger looks a tad thicker with the thread. Thicker. So maybe it's a 40 weight or 50 weight as opposed to the 50 cotton. Maybe the cotton's a bit different than the polyester too in the weights because they're different fibers. Well, polyester isn't exactly a fiber. You know what I mean. In any case, this is what they look like. So a little bit different. You can see the serger thread a little more, but not a huge difference, right? But when you go to open them up, you really want to see what that seam is doing, right? So again, here's the serger up here. So here's my seam. I haven't pressed these. And here's my Aurifil, the cotton, right? So let's see here. Over time, if we start pulling them, so I'm giving this a really good pull, all right, to see what it does. It's going to go right back, of course. And then let's see here with the Aurifil, the cotton. They both feel about the same. I know it's kind of, it's subjective, but it's not like I pulled this and it popped apart, okay? That's what I was wanting to check and see because I don't want to go to the trouble of piecing a whole quilt with the serger thread and it falls apart. Not to say in the future it might. I mean, come on, any of them could, right? But I was kind of surprised and pleased to find out that I could use this serger thread for piecing. Why not, right? Because now I have a lot of it, okay? So rather than having to invest in some more Aurifil or maybe Persensi or Mettler cotton thread for piecing, I'm going to keep going with some of these serger. And I do have a bunch of white, I have some black, some grays, I do have some of those kind of neutral threads. And then of course I have, well, there's a black right there, right? But then I do have all these other fun colors and basically any color in the rainbow I have. So if you have a serger at home and you do garment sewing and use your serger, but you haven't tried serger thread on any of your quilt projects, why not give it a try? Let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below. And also, I wanted to say a huge thank you, a big shout out to my Patchwork Pals. Those are quilters who are my Patchwork Pals YouTube channel membership, and for a very small monthly fee, they help to support my channel and they get lots of great perks, one of which is they get early access to all my videos. And there's lots of other fun little perks they get too. So if you would like to support the Chatterbox Quilts YouTube channel, and I'd love it and appreciate it so much if you did, you can join the Patchwork Pals membership too. Just check below any of my videos. There's a join button there, you'll see. And when you click on it, it gives you all the details, and you could even become a Patchwork Pal member today. Now today I've talked about serger thread, but I have other information for you about the kinds of thread that work well in quilting. So if you're wondering about that, don't worry, I got you covered. Check out this video that has all the information that you need. And for more helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.